Hi everybody, today we're going to go ahead and start on day 2 of Unit 10. No, this is not Unit 10, this is Unit 8. I forgot to change that. Oh well. We're going to start on day 2, which is solving quadratics by graphing, not factoring. I just really forgot to change a lot of this stuff. We're just going to deal with graphing today. But just as a reference, there are a number of ways to find solutions to quadratics. One is through a graph and looking at the graph of it. One is by factoring, which is why you need to know how to do factoring. And one is by a formula called the quadratic formula, which is going to be on your formula sheet, so you don't have to worry about memorizing it. So those are 3 different ways. Typically, people don't ask you to solve this equation using quadratic method, or they will say using quadratic method, because I definitely do that. They will say solve by factoring, because I've specified that. But they don't typically say solve it by graphing, so they're not going to say, like, you have to graph this in order to find the solutions. And even when they do, there's a way you could do it in a calculator, which I'll show you next class, to eliminate that process of by a calculator. So today we're just going to focus on graphing, then the next day we'll focus on factoring and quadratic, so on and so on. Okay? But before we even begin, it's really helpful to know what a solution to a quadratic equation is. A solution are the values of x when y is equal to 0. So when we're talking about solutions for a quadratic equation, we are talking about the x-intercepts, the zeros, the roots, there's one more, and I cannot remember it. What is it called? Roots, the solutions, the intercepts. Oh, there's something else, and I cannot remember it right now. The zeros, wait. Yeah. X-intercepts, zeros, roots, and solutions. 4 terms. All mean the same thing. Oh, and they're right here too. Wow, I'm so smart, guys. Quadratic equations, just so you are aware, can have 2 or 0 solutions. I think we talked about what that looks like on the last notes. So just be aware that those are all possibilities for this thing. And remember, this is basically how many solutions it has, is how many times it's crossing the x-axis. That's what you're looking for. So from a graph, you're going to tell if a solution is basically where it's crossing the x-axis, the x-intercepts. So the zeros are the x-intercepts. So if you just look at the x-axis, it's got 2 zeros because it's crossing twice, and the zeros just happen to be 6 and 8. So we just write x equals 6 and 8. That's it. From a graph, very, very easy. And again, I will show you how to draw this parabola in the calculator next class. And then I can help you figure out the zeros, whether they be like normal numbers like these guys are. These are crossing pretty nicely, but sometimes they don't cross very nicely. So if they're decimals, the calculator can help you a lot when it comes to graphs. So you're going to try these 2 on your own. Find the solutions, if there are any. Okay? And we'll go over those next class. Now, just wanted to give you a review on how to graph, in case you want to graph it by hand. Okay? Just a quick review. We have to graph the quadratic function and determine the solution. So, this is a function we're going to graph, y equals x squared minus 4x plus 8. Step 1, we're going to find the axis of symmetry. So what is this parabola forming around? And in order to do that, we need to know what a, b, and c are. So a is 1, b is -4, c is 8. And the axis of symmetry we find by using the formula x equals -b over 2a. So that's what I'm going to plug in. So I plug all that stuff in. X equals -4 over 2 times 1. So I'm going to simplify that formula and get x equals 4 over 2, which is equal to 2. So my axis of symmetry is 2. Okay? Will it pop up? Oh, it will. It just moved. So axis of symmetry is 2. That is always going to be a vertical line that's going to cut your parabola in half. So that's the halfway point. Now, the next thing we need to do is find the vertex. Well, the vertex is on this vertical line, so we already have the x value. X is 2. We just need to find the y value. Now, because we have the x value, we can just plug that into the equation and find the y. So that's what I'm going to do. Y equals 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 8. That gives me 4 minus 8 plus 8. So really I just get y equals 4. Wow. Y equals 4. That should be changed. Jeez Louise, guys. I struggled making this. This should be a 4. Y equals 4, which I did put here. So our vertex is 2, 4. So I'm going to actually use my marker for this. 2, 4 is right here. That little guy. And then step 3 is to find other points. So we already have 2, 4. And I always like to put that smack dab in the middle of my table when I'm making it, because to make your parabola and to really understand the shape that it's making, it's always best to find like 2 x values that are lower than 2 and 2 x values that are higher than 2, or like whatever your vertex is, because that'll give you points on both sides. So I just picked 1 and 0 for lower than 2 and 3 and 4 for bigger than 2. And to find the y values, I'm just going to do the exact same thing I did for the vertex. Take those x values, plug them into the equation, and get the y value. So I did this off screen. But 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 8 is just 8. 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 8 is 5. 3 squared minus 4 times 4 times 3 plus 8 is 5. And 4 squared minus 4 times 4 plus 8 is 8. There you go. Now, I want you guys to notice this. 1 is 1 space away from 2, and so is 3. It's only 1 space away from the 2. They both have the same y values. So when they are equidistant from the vertex, they will have the same y values. So now that I know all this stuff, I can go ahead and plot these points. I'm going to make my thingy, my dots a little bit bigger so you guys can see them. Okay, so I've got 1 point here. That's my vertex. I got 0, 8, which is my dog is eating a bone right next to the microphone right now. I got my y value, which is right here. Yep, that's him chewing on a bone. I've got 1, 5, which is right here. Yeah, cool. 3, 5, which is right here. Ooh. And 4, 8 is right here. Now, I'm going to warn you right now. This next step is going to be a little messy because I'm working on a computer where you guys usually work on paper, so it's a lot better. The next step is to graph it, so basically connect the dots, and then determine the slopes. So here's my attempt at graphing it. It's not going to be pretty, okay? I always start down at the curve because the curve is what's important, and then go up. Oh, that's not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not horrible. Okay, I thought it would be. And then go up. And I always put arrows on the end because we're still talking about a function, which can go on forever. Those arrows are horrible. But yeah. So, to determine my solutions, I'm looking at the x-axis. I'm not actually crossing the x-axis, so this is an example of no... Oh, I already wrote this out. Of no solutions. Okay? So, I know this is a lot more, like, this is a lot of review stuff, just being able to graph it. But you're going to want to know what, like, axis symmetry is, and vertex, and all that fun stuff, because they do play a role in word problems. So you need to know how to calculate them now. You need to, like, you basically need to know how to graph. So, you guys have this one to try on your own. It's got all 4 steps in there. You're going to do the exact same thing I did, like, but with different numbers. That's all. So give yourself a go at this, and we will talk about it next class. Okay? I will see you guys later. Yep, here we go, and bye.